Alright guys, what's up? This is Cosmic with a new Ajax crash course. Now, what is Ajax? It is the abbreviation for asynchronous JavaScript and XML. But actually, we really do not use XML. It is not in that much use. So, uh, asynchronous and JavaScript is a way of sending requests and receiving responses in an unblocking method. The opposite is synchronous. In this lesson, we will be learning about vanilla JavaScript Ajax and what is vanilla JavaScript. This is just the simple JavaScript that you've been writing. That is what we call vanilla JavaScript. Yeah, that simple JavaScript that you know, okay? Without some other flavors like jQuery, okay? That's what we call vanilla JavaScript. So as you can see, we have this snippet and we have the whole of that code, okay? I'm going to explain this code line by line, okay? Now we have that var and then we have this object. It's called XML HTTP request. So what is that? XML HTTP request is an object in JavaScript that initiates communication. We use the new keyword to create a new instance of the object. Alright, now I'm going to create a new project folder. This folder, we're going to call it Ajax Crash Course. So what you do, you just need a server. So I'm going to go to my server. I have a XAMPP server. It is located in my Windows directly, Windows disk, sorry. And then I'm going to go to htdocs, and then I'm going to create my new project here. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to create a new folder. I'm going to create a new folder called Ajax Crash Course, Ajax Crash Course. Hit enter, and then I can just come and fire up my Visual Studio Code. But before that, I would prefer to use the command prompt. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to open up my command prompt. Then I'm going to navigate to where my directory is. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to navigate to my project folder. So what I'm going to type here is going to be cd XAMPP, then htdocs. So here you can get the directory. So the directories, now you can see my project folder. So I'm going to say cd Ajax Crash Course, Ajax Crash Course, and then I'm going to open it in Visual Studio Code. So it is opening up in Visual Studio Code. That's it. So and then I'll be using this time around, I'll be using Chrome. It's a very nice tool. It has the V8 engine. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create 4 files. The first file, I'm going to call it index.html, and then I'm going to create it's taking some time to load. I'm going to create a style sheet. The style sheet is going to be styles.css. Then we are going to create another one. This time around, we are going to create a JavaScript file. It's going to be index.js. You don't have to call it index, you can call it whatever you want. Then let us have one called login form. Don't worry, I'm going to show you what all of them are. For now, here in the index.html, that's where we are going to have everything. It's kind of going to be an SPA, that is a single page application. So here what we are going to do, on a click of a button, we are going to get the login form. So here what I'm going to do, I'm going to get the snippet for HTML snippet, and then here I'm going to get the CSS style sheet, that is link, and it's a CSS, and it's going to be styles. And then here I'm going to have the menu, div.menu, or let's give it an ID of menu instead of a class. Then inside we're going to have, let me enlarge. So inside we're going to have menu items. So I'm going to get lists, and going to give them IDs of menu item. Then you're going to have home, and then I'm going to copy all of them, this one's gonna be about us, about this one is gonna be contact, and the other one is gonna be register, and this one is gonna be login. So what you're going to do, I'm going to style them up, but before then we can load them in there. You can see what we have. So I'm going to get to that, I'm going to navigate to that project folder. So I'm just going to type local host, and then it's Ajax crashCourse. It's loading, and then I'm going to fire up my dev tools. I'm firing up my dev tools. Now here you can see this all list. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to style them up. I'm going to go to the styles.css, and I'm going to use the hash and refer to the menu item, and then I'm going to give it a float of left, background color, background color of hash 040 C3. That's a very dark indigo, and then I'm going to give it a color of we could give it white, and then let us see what we have. Now that's what we have, you see. So now we need to remove those dots. We need to remove those dots. I'm going to give it a list style. So list style is of none. We don't want any list style. Then you're going to give it a margin of 1px. Save your work, refresh the page, and then let us see what we have here. Yeah, that's our menu, that's our little menu. But we could increase, we could also add something like padding. We could also add something like a padding, like 5px, so that we can have a bigger clicking the wrong browser. Now you can see we have a menu now. So what I'm going to do, let me change the font family. So I'm going to set the font family of everything to be Cobel. I'm a fan of Cobel. Font family, it's going to be Cobel. It's the font family of everything. Yeah, the font family. Now you see it has changed, it looks more cool. So something else that we can do, or we could even make the form a bit better. It doesn't look that great, so I'm going to give it a border bottom, border bottom. Let me give it 2px solid, and then hash 040 c3. That's the dark indigo. And then we're going to remove this background. Let's see what we have. Yeah, something like that. And then we're going to have you're going to have a color of the same. So I'm just going to copy this, the font color, save your work, refresh. Now we have something that looks almost professional. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to add some click event to the login or the register. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a new div in the index.html. I'm going to create a new div here, so that when we click maybe login, we can get the login form. So I'm going to add a div called it's going to have an ID of login div, and then I'm going to have another one called register div. So what I'm going to do, you make sure that you save your work, okay? So I'm going to add a click event here. On click you want to get login form, get login form, and then we can let us start with that one, so that at least we can at least get our hands dirty and see how and see how the Ajax works. So here we are going to use the object that I showed you. So here I'm going to declare the xchar object, and I'm going to assign the variable xchar to the xchar object. So I'm going to create a new instance of the xchar object. So XML, it's an XML HTTP request, so you put a semicolon there. Now that is the initiating the object. Now here we are going to create the open method on the xchar object. So here what I'm going to do, I'm going to write xchar dot open, and then I'm going to use the method get. Then the file that I'm going on, the URL I'm going to use, the login form. Now this one, it should be login.html, so login.html, not just login. So this one is let me close that one first. So I'm going to use login.html, and then is it async? Yeah, we're going to turn it true. You really do not, if it's true, you don't have to set it, okay? If it's true, you do not have to set it, but I'm just being explicit. But if it's false, you have to set it, okay? Now the other method we are going to check for the request status. So we're going to say xchar on ready state change. Then you're going to assign it to a function. And then what we are going to do here, we're going to check for the status and the ready state. So here we're going to use a conditional if xchar dot ready state. We have 4 ready states, so the fourth one is the successful ready state. If xchar dot ready state is 4 and xchar dot status equals 200 is the successful, is equals to 200. So if it is the ready state is 4, or that means that's ready, the request has been sent and the response is ready, or the status is 200, that means that the request was sent successfully. So if it is ready, then we are going to put whatever we have in the login form in that div. So what I could just write I could just come and write this is the login form. So and then here we can create an element or login form is equals to, then we're going to get this element by the ID. So we're going to get this element, so login div, and then you're going to put it here. We're going to put it there, and then here we're going to say login form dot inner HTML is equals to xchar dot response text dot response text. Now that is the response, so we can try, but before we go and try, let us send the request. Now send the request with a null parameter. So it's going to be xchar dot send, and then here you're going to have the null parameter. Now is a data type. Here is a data type. So no, I'm not using Opera right now, I'm using Chrome. So I'm going to refresh, then when you click this button, okay, you see we have a cursor. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to change the style so that when we hover over a menu item, we get a pointer as a cursor. We're going to have pointer, save. No, I'm just opening up the wrong browser. So yeah, something like that. You see, it changes into a small hand. So when we click that one, so we have this problem, get login form is not defined. The reason is because everything is correct, but we need to put the whole of this inside the get login form. So what I'm going to do, above here, I'm going to create the login form function. So I'm going to say function get login form, and then I'm going to put all this Ajax code snippet in there. Then I'm going to put it in there. So I'm going to save it, and then I'm going to do some some indenting whatever, and then I'm going to now we can refresh hard reload. Oh, get login form. Where did I? Okay, the reason now you see we have already defined the function, but the reason we are still getting that error is because we've not included the JavaScript. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to include the JavaScript, and it's going to be index.js. Yes, that one. Refresh, save your work, not Opera. Then refresh. Now you see this is the login form. Again, when I click, we have that. This is the login form, but now we need to style these things up so that we can get something better. So how we do that, we could maybe add 2 breaks here. Okay, maybe okay, I'm not trying to make a very cool thing. I'm just trying to get the idea passed. So you see, when we click, we have this is the login form. We have, when I click that button, we have there, that is a login form. Now I want to take you to this console. Now here in the console, I want you to go to the network tab, and then click the network tab. Okay, and then you're going to see a list of, now this is the form that we're having. As you can see, you have a status of 200, you have a status of 200, then the type is, and the type is XHR. Then you can see that the initiator is on index.js on line number 13. The initiator is on index.js on line number 13. That's where we send the request. Now something else that I want you to check is that when I click this button, you see now we have a 304. A 304 means it is not modified, and that means nothing has changed. That's a 304. When I click again, we're still going to, now this one is at 200. Now that one is at 200. Now you see, these are the status. This is the status that we are checking for here. That is the status that we are checking for here. That is the status that we are checking for there. So what I'm going to do now, instead of just having a text, we are going to have a real login form. So we are going to have a login div hash login and then sorry, so div hash login, I'm going to put some form here. So form's going to be, I really, with JavaScript you really do not have to put in form, so I could just write input, and then I'm going to have a sort of type text, and then I'm going to give it an ID of uname, that is username, and then I could have two of these, C and then V, and then the last one. So this one is going to be password. This one is going to be of type password. Then we are going to have, this one is going to be a type button, and then we are going to give it an on click. We are going to have login, process login, process login, and then you're going to have, it does not have to have an ID. We just give it a value of login. That's the value is what you're going to see on the page. So so we refresh this one. Now instead of having that text, now you see we have a form. Now we can make these things look better. Like now we can edit this login form. Okay, we can edit this login form using this style sheet. You see how cool it is. You don't have to include everything everywhere. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to edit this one. So I'm going to give it the login form now. So no, it has to be something, it's a new stuff. So login is a hash login. I'm going to give it a height width of 100 px, height of 300px, and then I'm going to give it a background color, background of I'm going to give it a cornflower blue. Save your work. Let me just close this one, I don't need it, then refresh this one. Now you see that's our form, and then that's our form. Just a moment. Then we need to increase this one to be 200. Maybe 200 would be great. My favorite browser is Opera. That's the reason you see me clicking now and then. Now we also need to add some padding. Padding, you're going to give it 2%. 2% would be great. I'm still trying to use. Now the padding is okay. So what we could do, we could reduce the height to be 200. 200 would be okay. So I refresh, then click login, and then now we need to, you see, when we have, it's not a very cool form. That's now the upright, so loading, but I want to use the Chrome. It looks much cool. And then, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to give some style to this form input field. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the CSS. So I'm going to hash input field. So I'm going to refer to the login form, and then I'm going to refer to the input of it's going to be of type text, and then the other one is going to be of type password, and then we're going to have the login of type password of type equals password of type is equals to password. Then I'm going to give it a padding of 5px. I'm going to give it a border radius of 5px2, and then I'm going to give it a border of color 1px solid, then dark gray, I'm going to give it a border radius, a border of color gray, and then put a semicolon there. Then we are going to let us first preview how it looks like. It looks like that in the Opera, and then in Chrome it looks like this. It looks like that. And then we can do what? Then we can even change the background colors. We can have background, we can give it a transparent, and then we can have the color. We can have the color to be white. So refresh the whole thing. Now you have something, so when you type it looks like that. It's cool, right? And then instead of the border to be dark gray, we could give it something like white. Something like white. White. Refresh your work, and then it looks like that. You start typing, it looks cool. Then we could give them a margin of 1px. Save your work, refresh, login. One margin is not that great, maybe 3. Refresh. So something else we can come to the index.html, not in the index but login HTML, and add some label. So we could give this one a label of user name, and then we could give this one the label of password. Then we could just drop this one. We are Yeah, in real life I wouldn't be using, on in some projects, some client projects, I wouldn't be using this one. This one is for just for illustration. Okay, yeah. And then you're going to have beard. You're going to have a beard there. So refresh your work, and now it looks much better. And then we can come here and on the styles, and then change the login to be the login div, to have the text aligned to the center. Login, and then you can have the text aligned, center. Save your work. Opera, it's gonna be like that. Then when we come to Chrome, it's gonna look something like this. Yeah, looks cool. So that's our login form. We also need to edit the button. We also need to give some styles to the button. So I'm going to make it a global kind of. You don't have to do this. In fact, it's not a good idea, but because we really do not have many of the buttons, I'm just going to refer to that button. Input is of type button. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to give it some border radius of 5 px. I'm also going to give it background color of light green, and then I'm going to give it a color of light green too. No, light green will not be great, maybe cornflower blue. Yeah, I don't know how the mix is gonna work, but anyway, it's testing. Okay, yeah, so it looks like that, and it really does not look that great, so we will give it a sky blue, and then font color of white. Refresh your work, view, it looks like that. And then we need to give it a border. It's gonna be with 1 px solid, cornflower blue, no, sky blue. Oh, we could instead of having a background, we could remove and give it a transparent, and then we could have a border of 2px, and then cornflower blue, something like that. Let's see how it looks like. Yeah, it's cool, right? Oh, not cornflower blue, white. Refresh. How cool is that, man? It's cool, right? Yeah. So refresh, it looks cool. And then we could increase the height, the width. Let us give it 50%. It's gonna take 50% of the box, and then we're going to give it a padding of 5px solid, not px solid, yeah, just 5px. Yeah, and then we're going to give it a margin of what? And give it a margin. No, we give it a margin. There's some things that are not going to line up as we would want, so I'm just going to put a beard there. Yeah, save your work, go to the browser, refresh. Now you have a very cool login form, right? And then we could give it a margin too. Now let us give it a margin of 2px. Save your work, refresh, I get something like that. Now what I want us to do, because as you see now, that one was being loaded using what? Using Ajax. Now we are loading, at the beginning we have this page which is the index.html, but when we click here, it brings this form, but you do not see a change in the address. in the address bar. Now you can still add functionalities to these ones. You can add functionalities to this one, like you can get the username and then you can validate. Okay. And now the other thing that I want us to do, I want us to get a register form. So I'm going to copy this text, the whole of this text. I'm going to copy the whole of that text, and then I'm going to create a new file called register.html, and then I'm going to copy that there, but instead this one is going to be register, and then username, then password, and then you can have confirm password, and then so what we're going to do, I'm going to add a functionality here. So I'm going to go to the index, and then I'm going to get to add an event to on click. I'm going on click is gonna be we are going to create a new function. So it's gonna be get register form. Okay, get register form. So before we continue, you know, when I right now let's go to that to Chrome. When I click this one, you see right now I'm getting an error because I've not defined that register form. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go to JS, and then I'm going to copy the whole of that function, and then but now this time around I'm going to do what? I'm going to register.html, and then I'm going to have what? I'm going to have that's register.html. Then I'm going to have, instead of that login div, I'm going to register div, and then we can check what was there. Yeah, it's the register div. Copy that one and then put it in the JavaScript. Save your work, and then let us see if it is working. Oh, now we have an error. So register get register form is not defined. So what you are going to do, you are going to get the register form. So I'm just going to copy it from here, Ctrl+C, then I'm going to go here, and then I'm going to paste it there. So refresh your work, and using Chrome, now you have it there. Okay, get register form is not defined. So now you see, now we have it. You see, now we have both of them there. Okay, so that's it there. We have the username, password, and then confirm password. Okay, now I hope this one I'm going to leave it up to you. You're going to add styles to it, and then we are going to meet in the next. So what we're going to do right now, I want to put this register form to the left of the login form. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use here login form, login form, and then comma hash, not login form, login div hash register div hash register div. Then I'm going to give them a float of left. Save your work, then refresh. So yeah, we have something like that. It's cool, right? And then you can give them a margin, both of them. You can give them a margin of 5%. 5% would be great. So that's it, and it looks like that. So it really is not the coolest thing, but now you can add functionality. You can log in, you can log out, it's not a must that you add something like that. Okay, now for the home, about us, contact, you could still add the same things. Like you could add a home, a page about the home, then you could have a page about us. Basically that's it for the for the what for the that's it for the Ajax part. As you can see, it's not that hard. Okay, it's just this snippet. Okay, this snippet is what it's all about. That snippet, it's what it's all about. So I'm going to stop at this point. I'm going to wrap it up at this point. So what you're going to do, just like if you like the page, if you like the video, just click on the like icon, then subscribe to my channel, and wait for new videos. I'll be dropping at least 3 videos a week. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to get your comments. So if you have an issue, just post on the comment. You want some help, post it on the comments section, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. So my name is Cosmic. Once again, it was a pleasure having to give you this tutorial. Let's meet in the next lesson.